Welcome to Seeing Scarlet. It is Shelby here with Tyler once again, and we're talking all things Texas Tech sports this week. So if you somehow miss all the happenings, we're going to go through pretty much everything that we can think of that happened this week. Obviously, going to talk a lot about the Lady Raiders because it is basketball season. We're going to do highlights on the big SFA win. That's a pretty solid win right there that hopefully will help us later in the year. And a scrappy team that came in there that was undefeated. You handed them their first loss. And now a very big week ahead for the Lady Raiders as they head on the road for their first two true road tests at ACC SMU. Yes, they're in the ACC. Remind yourself. And SEC Arkansas. So we're going to talk about those. Tyler has some fun previews planned. Men's basketball's off this week, so we'll briefly touch on the A&M game, but everybody kind of saw that, knows what happens, but they got a good week ahead to rest up and get better. Macy Blackburn over with Texas Tech Soccer, being Macy Blackburn, All-American. Also, get out there and vote. You might have like one more hour of time to get out there and vote. Go look on the Texas Tech Soccer pages, the Mac Herman Award. She's a semifinalist, and there's a fan vote portion to that. You have a little bit longer to vote for that. And then football. We said, hey, I just hope he hires someone quick. And boy, did Joey McGuire hire someone quick. He got both of those in quick. And if we have time, we'll tease a fun interview that I finished today with Jerry Glasgow from Texas Tech softball. We posted a clip earlier today on our social media, but if you missed it, maybe we'll share it in here. But that's kind of the rundown on what we're going to do. If you're not already, follow, subscribe, share with your friends, all the things. Appreciate it. Tyler, what's going on? How you doing?
Oh, it's going. I'm very excited. We had a great week in tech athletics, and finals week is finally over. So, yeah, we're
You
headed into winter
students.
break.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't miss that part of the college experience, the classes,
For sure.
just finals. So yeah, so before finals, the Lady Raiders, man, they're playing a lot of games, y'all, a lot of games, and they finished off their 4th in 6 days with a plane trip back from the Virgin Islands in the middle of that with a game against Stephen F. Austin last Tuesday, about a week ago, and they got the win. I don't even remember what the final score was, by about 10 or so, something like that. Does that sound right? And got that win. At the time, it was a top 50 net win. I don't know what SFA is now, but they should range in that quad 3 win for those people that care about that throughout the year. And we'll go through the highlights in a clip from Jordan Merritt after the game as well. But I thought it was, again, great defense in the first half. I think SFA came in averaging like over 80 points a game, and we held them to 25 in the first half. So that'll work for you there. I think they even came in. The broadcast said they were like leading the nation in field goal percentage, all these crazy stats, and they shoot a lot of threes, so that's very impressive. And we did pretty well on them defensively, and you could tell they hadn't really faced a pressure defense like us. And so the first half defensively was really solid. They started hitting shots in the second half, but we held on to get the dub.
Agreed. Yeah, I thought that honestly, I think the first three quarters were kind of pretty well strung together, especially the way we ended the third quarter. I thought looked
Mm-hmm.
really good, and then once we got to the fourth quarter, it just yeah, I think that the press was kind of messing with us. We were trying to find some ways to break it with adding Burden to kind of help facilitate that. But those are some little things that we need to work on. But overall, I thought it was a good win, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's probably your second or your highest rated win. It is your highest rated win this
Probably,
year.
yeah,
Not
I
your
think
highest
so.
rated opponent because you played Florida State, who ended up being a quad 1 loss for the net folks out there. But we did lose that by 8 points, even though we played them well. So yeah, SFA is a good program. I think they ended up we might have broke them a little bit. They lost their game after ours, which was probably an upset loss for them, but I have little doubt they're probably going to regroup. They could win out the rest of the year if they get back on the track they were coming in. So they kind of got up big against who they're playing and looked like they lost their next game, which is unfortunate for them, but there's a really high chance they win their conference if they get back to playing the way they were, so that could be a good dub for you. But yeah, I think overall good win. Jordan Merritt playing Jordan Merritt basketball, you'll see that in these highlights. It's just so good to see her out there doing what we know she's capable of. She had 12 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 steals, 1 block. That's Jordan Merritt basketball.
Jordan Merritt basketball.
Only she can do that. Like, that's just her. Like, it's just what she does. She's just out there having fun and hooping, and also just being a great leader for this team. Which she was a pretty big leader for last year's team, but she was new. She was a transfer last year, trying to get integrated into the system. And this year, you can see like she's comfortable, and she's been here for over a year now, and she's that fifth-year senior that we need on this team. She's the only true senior playing right now. Maya didn't play in that game, so Jordan's out there kind of holding down that leadership role for us as a senior, and she was great. I just love to see Jordan Merritt having fun out there playing basketball. It makes my heart happy. So she's a good egg for sure. And then Kyla Freeland, a junior, back to being the offensive board menace that she was so often last year. Not that she's been bad at that this year, but she kind of was, I don't know. She definitely took it personally, as we say on this show. And she went out there and got a career high in offensive rebounds against SFA with 9. Had 11 total rebounds, but 9 offensive rebounds.
Crazy.
So she was the other big one. And then Adley does what Adley does. If you're going to play a zone, Adley Blacklock's going to come out there and bust threes on you, like, no hesitation. I don't know why people keep trying us, but I hope they keep doing, because Adley's going to keep coming out there and hitting threes. So she was the other big one as well, I thought, but I don't know if you had any other standouts.
Yeah, no, I think I agree, especially with Jordan Merritt. I thought even when we were breaking the press, like, there were a few turnovers she had, but other than that, I think she really helped facilitate us to get out of that and to help score so that we could build the lead off more, or to try to get the win off more points. I mean, she was playing aggressive down low. SFA was being chirpy with her, and then she just went right back up and started scoring again, and was helping, being that leader that we really needed to see from her. So big shout to Jordan Merritt. And Kyla's rebounds, that helped us a lot in the net. I think we jumped about 10 spots after that night. So it's good to see both of those things going well. And then also Kyla, or also Adley, shooting threes, like,
it's what she does.
Amazing, right?
Yeah, you can still see some players on this team that are still trying to figure out their roles, and we have a lot of new faces. But I think Adley, maybe it was probably because maybe the most seamless transition for any of the transfers, because she was kind of played that role at her past school, and that was an Elite Eight team. Like, so she knows her role. Like, hey, I'm used to being on teams with a lot of talent and a lot of people, and you call my name, I'm ready to go, coach. Like, that's what she was doing, again, for an Elite Eight team last year at Oregon State. So it's a zone or a man, or you need me to get buckets, whatever. She's playing really good defense. She's getting rebounds out there. I really appreciate what Adley Blacklock's doing for us this year. She knows her role, and she knows her job, as she said before in those press conferences, and she goes out there and does it. And as we see, it's going to happen. I see it in them. You're going to see everybody start to slide into their roles in that same way by the time we get to the end of the season. And if we have the wins we need to by then, it could be a lot of fun. So that's what I'm hoping to see. But yeah, let's just pull up these highlights, and we can run through them more and let y'all see them. But starts off the game with just a classical Bailey Maupin does something silly moment. I think she does like a spin move, pull up mid-range shot. That's an and one opportunity here to start the game, which was a great way to start the game. So love it.
Jada Wynn is just so consistent for them, and it's just kind of the glue player for them. She's defending, she's making shots, she's moving the basketball.
What do you do besides laugh? That's all you can do, Bailey, because that's stupid.
Mid-range is so nice. That's a good start for Jordan Merritt. We were talking earlier, too. Who's going to be that?
We started well in this game, as you can see. We get up big and then kind of let them hang around.
Jazzy.
She just leads us in steals 2 a game. She's a menace. You going to be loose with the ball around Jazz Shavers? Good luck. She's taking it.
Again, the problem for Stephen F. Austin this year, they're 322nd in turnovers. This time they break.
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
Kyla.
Get that out of my basket.
I love the intensity from this group this year.
We are very intense.
We may not be playing perfect all the time, but you're never going to do that. But we always pretty much bring the intensity this year, which I appreciate.
Going to go in. So I just want her to stay confident. That was a beautiful catch and shoot off the pass from Bailey Maupin there. She can do that all day.
Talking about catch and shoot, Dominguez, no.
Okay, Jordan.
Good rebound. Down another rebound.
I haven't actually watched these, so I'm not sure what. I watched the game, but that's it. Aha!
Jada wins. Love what I've been seeing from Jada. She's been very consistent.
Yeah, it's good to have like 2 true shooters in her and Adley this year. It's not just Jada, you know.
I agree.
Great passing. What a press break. Yes! People are going to press us until we prove that we can break it this year, and that right there is beautiful stuff.
Boy, they give Kyla the 15.
Good offense, good stuff. We're getting a lot better at this zone offense. Struggled with it to start the year, and now it's kind of honestly our best offense in a lot of ways. I'm like, play zone, bring it. Oh, look.
Jada win.
Jada Wynn and Adley both had 3 threes in this game.
Tonight, but man has been dominant on the glass.
Jordan. Whoop.
Jada Wynn
Good
already
pass,
4
buckets.
3-pointers made.
Jazzy.
We shot it pretty well in this game, if I remember right, from 3.
Tech's defense is just relentless.
Johnson with the steal, the basket.
Man, that's what we can be. Like, that's what we can be. Like, we can really make people miserable when we really want to, you know, and we do this without fouling, because that's not easy. Granted, some refs would have called a foul there, but that wasn't a foul, so I'm glad they let us play on and let us do what we do there, because that's just good defense.
Sarah had really great defense the whole game.
She was very intense in this game. Buckets! Adley gets her shot up so fast.
I know.
Oh, spin move.
But the ball's hot.
Jordan Merritt basketball.
Just live ball turnovers that lead directly to points. Those are the ones you've got to take care of.
Merritt looking for her
I mean, okay, point guard Jordan Merritt. Bird. I mean, she makes 2 in this game, doesn't she? Like, that's a weapon if she starts getting more involved in any type of role. Just to be able to bring her off the bench and shoot the way she can, like, that's big time.
You love to see these fast breaks with the balls going in. I feel like that we've had trouble finishing, so it's good to, it's good to see that.
Yeah, I feel like we have a better field goal percentage this year on 2s. It's just like shooting elsewhere, it's going to keep going up. But yeah, we're definitely finishing stronger. I think that just goes to the fact that we're just a little bit stronger this year. You can tell that they got in the gym, and I think that was pretty evident in this game. We can just play these in the background. It was their 4th game in 6, which is tough, to say the least. And I'm not saying they weren't tired. I'm sure they are tired, but they didn't look physically tired to me, which to me is a credit to the work that they did in the offseason. I'm sure that they are feeling it, and I'm sure it is tough, and they fought through it. But I didn't ever see a team that looked gassed out there, which I think is a great sign.
Me either.
If we can play 4 games in 6 days, play up and down the way we do with pressing, and even in the half court, our defense, when it's doing really well, is very intense. It's really high energy defense when we're playing it well. They didn't look tired because, you know, they're playing different people, and so that's good. I do think we looked a little mentally tired in this game, and I'm hoping that was a lot of the turnover issues. Someone on Facebook is asking about the turnovers. Listen, guys, I'm about as tired of talking about the turnovers as this team is probably tired of being asked about them. And like, turnovers and the free throws are kind of one of those things that I feel like the more you talk about them, like, the less likely it's going to get better, because I feel like it's like mental. But they're not watching our show, so we can talk about it. But yeah, like, the turnovers were an issue. I don't know how many they had, 20 or something in this game. SFA does force a lot of turnovers, to be fair. They force about 21 a game. I think we had 22. So that's about on right at what SFA does to people. They press as well. But y'all are going to laugh at me. But I legitimately, for like the last 5 games, have a long spreadsheet where I'll go back and like track the turnovers, because I don't like to get on here and talk about athletes, especially in that way, when I know people are like nitpicking it without having some sort of like know what I'm talking about. And so I literally have gone back and like tracked the turnovers and have all these silly columns on like when it happened, who they were passing to, what type of defense, was it aggressive or was it tentative, and then like a notes column. And in this game, more so than a lot of them, but a lot of times our turnovers, in my opinion, subjective, fall in the tentative category more than aggressive, if that makes sense. Personal opinion, I can live with a confident, aggressive turnover. Like a push ahead pass that you pass it and it bounces off your teammate's hands out of bounds. I personally can live with that. Those don't frustrate me. The ones that are like, okay, I'm hoping it's because we've been playing 4 games in 6 days, we're mentally exhausted, are the ones where it's like, shoot the ball. Just shoot the ball. Like, we're like overpassing. You kind of saw it from the men's team last night. A lot of people were like, why are we not shooting it? Like, we're overpassing. I see a lot of tentative turnovers. I mean, even in this game, if I'm not going to pull up that sheet because I'm not boring y'all with that. I'm a nerd, but it helps me talk about it in a responsible manner, because I don't like to get on here and talk about athletes without making sure that I've double checked and gone back and looked and not just assuming things. Because I hate when people are like, they're lazy or they don't care, or like, no, that's not what these are. If anything, they care too much. I see players that are maybe a little bit scared to make a turnover, and so they're making a turnover. But yeah, like, even to start this game, I think Jazzy had one where it looks like she's going up for a floater on the very first play of the game, remember? And for some reason, she pulled it back down. It was like she remembered last second, oh, we're running a set play or something. I'm supposed to pass it here. And I'm like, no, Jazzy, shoot that. Like, I get there's probably a play that was ran, first play of the game. But you did a great job, and you got to a spot. And I think maybe Danae had one later where she got to the lane, and it looks like she's going up for a shot. And then she pulled it down, and she passed it. And technically it was a good pass because it somehow made it through 3 people and hit Kyla in the hands. But Kyla thought she was going up for a shot, too. Everybody thought she was going up for a shot. So Kyla's getting ready to offensive rebound. 9 offensive rebounds, right? That's what she does. And so she can't get down there to catch it in time, even if it hits her in the hands. And you saw that a lot where it's like, just shoot it. I'd rather have a missed shot, have a chance for the rebound, than a tentative, hesitated, overthinking.
Agreed.
Brain is moving too fast turnover. So to answer, Carol over here on Facebook is asking about those. Like, listen, I don't have the answer for you. The team's going to work on it. They keep getting better, but I think a lot of them in this SFA game, even more so than past games, were kind of like that. And I'm hoping it's just a week off will do them good. Y'all had finals, right? Tyler's a student.
Yes.
So not too much of a mental break, but a mental break from basketball at least to get away from the game a little bit and just get back to just hooping, as silly as that may sound. But a lot of them, to me, are more hesitating turnovers, maybe overworked or exhaustion type mentally. Because I don't know if people realize how mentally taxing 4 and 6 games is, not just physically because of all the scout and the preparation they're doing. Like, they have to learn 4 different scouting reports in 6 days against 4 different teams, and so that's a lot of information and a lot of different stuff going through their brains. And so I don't know. So Carol, to answer your question, that's what I see. There's certainly like ones where they can work on it and they need to stop. Like the entry post passes are pretty rough sometimes. That can be fixed. Like, that's a drill practice thing. Out of the trap, we had some turnovers out of the trap in this game. Teams are going to press us. That's going to be something we face. There's certainly some areas that they're going to keep working on, but I'm hoping maybe this week off came at the right time. And some of those mental ones, if they clear up those mental ones, you're more in the 15 range, in my opinion, and just kind of play a little more free. So hopefully that answers your question, Carol. Ish, but yeah, I'm about as tired of talking about them as I'm sure the team is tired of being asked every press conference about them. So hopefully we don't have to do that moving forward.
Right, yeah, and I think also though on the other end of it, I mean, we were able to force SFA into 22 turnovers as well. So at least it's not one lopsided, we're turning the ball over, like, we're also getting them to turn it over as well. So at least like it's somewhat equal in that regard, because obviously you want it to be our side forcing more, obviously. But, at least in games like this, when you only had a day to prepare for probably the best team that you've played all non-conference, arguably, I mean, I think that's pretty impressive.
State,
and I think it was,
yeah.
Right, yeah. But it was like a lot of mental stuff just that we had to come up with.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't think people realize that, and that's why I give them a lot of grace on that. And getting the win is the important part of that. And you're not going to have that scenario again until maybe, like, it's the conference tournament. Like, you won't even have that scenario in, like, a March Madness style tournament, like the NCAA, because you'll have 2 games in 3 days, hopefully, but you won't have 4 games in 6 days ever again until maybe the conference tournament, if that's how the schedule works. I'm not sure. So it was a good chance for them to test themselves mentally, physically. Again, yeah, you'd have to ask the team. I didn't see a team that looked super physically tired. I'm sure they were, but I think that's a credit to their conditioning this year, that our team was able to handle that. But maybe a little bit mentally tired, to Carol over in the comments for the turnovers. But there's certainly things that they just have to clean up and they have to keep working on. And sometimes we get a little reckless, but for the most part, I can live with confident, like, aggressive turnovers. Those, you're never gonna, I don't want to say never, that'd be awesome to make it through a game with 0 turnovers, but it's highly unlikely that that's gonna happen. You're gonna have some turnovers. I hate the turnovers where it's like, just shoot it. just shoot the ball,
Right.
Should have just shot it instead of, like, trust your instincts, I guess is what I'm saying. I feel like we have players that have good instincts. Just when they get back to trusting them, and maybe a week off will help with that. We'll see. I'm excited to see them go. go down to SMU in Arkansas after a week off and getting kind of a little bit of a reset week, which is a good time for it to come, I think, after getting all those wins.
Yeah, I agree. I think that also going into this week, there's a lot of exciting things that are going on, like such as we did receive 3 AP votes in the poll,
Oh,
and
that's
we haven't
true.
played in like
Respect,
a
we'll
week.
take
So
it.
yeah, we have some respect going, but I think we play Wednesday against SMU. I think it's going to be a great test, right? It's our first true road game. I saw today Talia Goodman posted we're one of the few teams that haven't had a true road game yet since we went to the islands. So I'm really excited to see how we go against SMU. So if Dallas Fort Worth Red Raiders, get your tickets. I think they're doing a sale, only $7. So we need y'all to help pack the arena in red and black because I think it's going to be a pretty good game. Do you have anything on SMU that
No, I know you did
totally
a
huge?
preview, so I'll let you do it,
Right.
but I'll double down
Okay.
on if you live in Dallas Fort Worth area, y'all did a great job showing out for the A&M game
I agree.
over at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. Get out there and not make it a road game. I know there's going to be a pretty good contingent of folks there because we have some players, like a handful of players from the
From
Dallas
Dallas,
Fort Worth area.
right.
And so I know their family's going to roll through strong. I'm sure Jordan Merritt's people are going to be everywhere. I've seen some fans even, Jazzy's from the area. I mean, a lot of them are. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, Wichita Falls, where Jalen's from, is not too far from Dallas, so either. So, yeah, there's a lot of them that are from that area, and they're going to get to play in front of their families a little bit more, so I'm excited for them. But, yeah, go there, be there. And someone on Twitter, Brandon, just responded to our video on there, because Twitter comments don't always pop up in here either, says, did not realize they would be playing at Arkansas. We'll have to get tickets. Yes, sir, you will. Sunday
Yes.
at 2. If you live in the Fayetteville area, get there, be there. No matter how those two teams do, the best way I can describe I think SMU is a pretty solid team. We'll see what Arkansas builds into. We'll talk about them more, but they're still power conference teams, ACC team,
Right.
SEC team. So if we're on the bubble and there's this conversation in that committee room about Texas Tech and another ACC team or another SEC team, we can say, hey, we were hopefully 2-1 against the ACC and SEC because we did drop a close one to FSU. And I think that's all the teams we would play. So we had a winning record against those conferences. So if you're picking between us and them, how did they do in their non-con? If it was less than that
Exactly.
against the Big 12, pick us. You know what I mean? Like, so there's those things that you can use argument-wise down the road. And this team's goal is that. We know that's what the goal is, so we don't have to shy away from it. And so it matters for a lot of reasons. It's not like a have to win it or your season's over situation. Absolutely not. It's way too early in the year for that. But big opportunity games absolutely coming up on the road. So what do you got for SMU on Wednesday at 7 Central, I believe?
Yes. So I think what's important about this SMU game is their last game that they played against Florida State. They also had a very close game against Florida State. They were actually they only lost by 8 points, and they actually controlled the game for the whole entire first half. And then in the second half, it kind of got a little shaky there in the third quarter. But some players that I think we're going to have to be able to lock down on and watch out for is Nia Robertson. She's 8th in the nation in points, averages 21 points per game, and she makes about three-pointers per game. So that's definitely somebody that we're going to have to play lots of good defense on. And then also their center, which that's going to be interesting to see how we're going to match up down low. But Jessica Peterson, she's very good. She's 6th in the nation in rebounds with about 11 per game. So definitely Kyla's rebound night that she had, we may have to put Kyla on her. Sarah also is going to be huge because Jessica is also a great shot blocker. However, I do think that Jessica is a huge fouler. So if we can try to get SMU into foul trouble early, I think that could be our advantage, especially down low. And then lastly, if y'all are true Lady Raider fans or diehards, y'all may remember Shantae Embry. She transferred after her first year here. She shot 4 3-pointers the other day
She was hot.
from the perimeter. Yeah. Yes, very hot from that. But we'll see a lot of that. They love to work their posts down low. That's kind of how their offense is run. Or they'll give it to Naya, and Naya will go shoot it from pretty much anywhere. And then defensively, they kind of start out in a 2-3 zone, SMU does, which we all know Adley Adley
Let
can
us
stop
cook.
that. Right, exactly. But then it kind of like gets, and then Florida State, once they started, figuring out how to work that, then they go back to man. But if
Switching it
we
out,
can
yeah.
start off strong with Adley and our sharpshooters, Jada, maybe even Danae finally finds her shooting gold spot, then I think this could be a really good win for the Lady Raiders.
Yeah, I think it will be a solid win. SMU has, I think they're 5-5, but they like you said, they were up on Florida State at Florida State in their first ever ACC game in women's basketball, and SMU as a program is proven that they have gone into the ACC and done well. Obviously, their football teams in the college football playoff, volleyball made the NCAA tournament. Soccer, I don't know how soccer did, but the ACC in soccer is stupid, as y'all know. But soccer has
Right.
always been good for them, so I think they had some good games. But they've been good and pretty much they've been competitive. It's not been a gone in there and just gotten murdered and all their sports things. So I think they're feeling confident. The Naya Robertson, is that her name?
Yes.
She was one of the bigger portal pickups if I remember right. In this
Yes.
past portal, I think she came from like George Washington or something like that. So she has always been a good scorer, and yeah, they've gone hard. They're like as soon as they got in the ACC, like their athletic department's not messing around. They're trying to win games and win games fast. They don't care if everyone thinks they're gonna not compete, and they showed that in their first game. They almost beat a really good Florida State team on the road. So yeah, I think they're going to be in. Obviously, Embry's going to have a little extra. She's played us
Right.
before because we played them back in the WNIT a couple of years ago, and she got to play against us then. Not that there's any bad blood, but it's just always fun to
No.
play your
Yeah.
former
Right.
team, and yeah, she's a good little player, and she she got hot. I
She did.
just got hot. Every once in a while,
Yes.
she'll have games like that. Some games it's not like that, and then she'll drop 4 threes on you out of nowhere. So I do think our defense is better than Florida State's defense, and so I'm interested to see how they handle our press. 'Cause I think they turn it over about 15 times a game. So I'm
Right.
interested to see if we can kind of get some easy baskets that way, and then kind of take their guards out of it that way by putting pressure on them. But we've had really good experience with playing leading scorers. This will be the second top 10 league score we've played, and then in the next game, which you're about to talk about, we'll play another one. So I don't know how that happened this year. We're facing all of the nation's leading scorers as a team that hangs our hat on defense. At least we get to say we did that by the time we get to conference. It's like we're not going around not playing good offensive teams. So I'm excited to see them go to work, but it's a chance to take another step forward, especially on that on-ball defensive side, which has at times, when I say it's been a struggle, it's like our defense has been so good. It's like that's the area where, man, it could be really good if we start locking down
Right.
more consistently there, and they'll have a chance. But it could be like Florida State where it's like, hey, she's going to get hers. Good scorers get theirs. It happens.
Right.
As long as you don't let other people go off. Like you don't want an Embry or someone else. You don't want that third, fourth person to go off for them. So just good team defense, turn them over a lot. That's what I'm hoping happens in this one. It's the goal.
Yeah.
And get the dub.
Well, and SMU has kind of had just a roller coaster of a season because we do
Yes.
share other opponents with them. Like they took Lamar. I mean, they had to take Lamar to overtime, who we play. Also,
played 'em yet,
or we play
so.
next week. Yeah, not yet. And then they also lost to Arizona State. So I don't know, like
Yeah.
necessarily if
On the road.
when we win, what it's gonna quite look like as far as measuring with our team with SMU. But they did jump like 30 spots in the net just from that Florida State loss. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be a good matchup, and hopefully we can try to pull away from them pull away from them in the game.
Yeah, and it's at home. Have they lost at home yet this year? Let's see. They
I'm
do
not
have a loss at
sure.
home. So I was about to say maybe
Yes.
they're undefeated at home. Like, it has been a weird year for them. They've had games where they played really well, like Florida State. They played
Right.
Missouri tight. Missouri's been up and down. Really, that Florida State game is naturally the one that happened right for us. They're going to come in feeling good about themselves offensively. But again, I think our defense puts a lot more pressure on people than Florida State's does. That's an area where Florida State self-admits that they have to get better. And so they kind of give you space to work sometimes, and they took advantage of it. So hopefully we don't give them too much space to shoot. They might have been daring
Right.
Embry to shoot. I don't know. I didn't. You say you watched the game?
Yeah, I watched like the little condensed game things. It was a lot of like it happened a lot in the first half, but Naya would like dribble the ball, and then next thing you know, like she would just pass it to Embry out of nowhere, and she's out there on the 3-point line, and I think she got like 2 or 3 in a row, like from each offensive set. So I don't know. It seemed kind of odd because Embry doesn't necessarily she doesn't necessarily play around that 3-point line a whole lot from their other games that I kind of looked at. She really is kind of like more. She plays like likes to play more down low. She's obviously a forward, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where the 3-point shots came from, but I definitely think we can. I don't know. I think we can try
She's
to
capable
stop that.
of it.
Hopefully, right?
Yeah, I think she's like hitting 29% from three this year, and that's after a game where she went 4 for 5 or whatever she did against Florida State. So,
Right.
but she's capable. Everybody's a capable shooter when you when you give them too much space. So hopefully we don't
Right.
do that and get it done. So yeah, it'd be a solid win, first road win, just by nature of playing on the road. That will be a nice little that gives you an extra boost in the net. All the things that silly computer likes to have some true road games, and hopefully it won't be an actual true road game, but the computer doesn't know
Right.
that
They
it's
don't
going to
know.
be full of Red Raiders. Is it the Moody Coliseum? Is that the name of it?
Right. Moody
Something like that.
Coliseum.
Something like that. The SMU's stadium in Dallas. So get there Wednesday night at 7 p.m. On TV, I think it's on
ACC Network,
Plus or
X
something.
or something.
I'm hoping it's going to
Yeah.
be on ESPN Plus. I don't even know what that means. It's not ACC Network. It's like ACC Extra. I think that's
And
what it's on.
yeah, I think it will show up on ESPN Plus normally. Normally that subscription gets you everything, so
Okay, good.
we'll
Yeah.
see.
I'll riot
Because
if not. So if not, I'll be calling Jordan's mom up. I don't have Jordan's mom's number. This is a joke. I'm gonna like find her on Twitter and be like, "Can you live stream? Can you live stream from the game
For real.
for us?" So, but
Any
yeah.
Red Raider fans out there?
Yeah, anybody want to live stream for seeing Scarlett to watch the game? So no, I'm sure we'll be able to find it online somewhere. So that's SMU. Get that dub, solid win. I don't know what our travel plans would be if we come back to Lubbock or what, but
Right.
then on Sunday they play at Arkansas. So 2 true road games against power conference teams. What do you got on Arkansas?
Yeah, so Arkansas really runs their whole entire team through one person, Izzy Higginbottom. She's second in the
very
nation
good.
in points,
Yeah.
right behind Tanaya Laston from
Huh.
Florida State.
How
so
did this
she averages,
happen to us?
I know. I have no idea. She averages about 24 points per game. So she's obviously she's going to be huge, right? If we can stop her, then I don't really think Arkansas really has a chance against our depth, right? And I say that kindly, but really there hasn't really been anybody on Arkansas that has necessarily stood out. They do have a center named Vera Ogenua who is top 50 in the nation in rebounds with about 7 per game, but she also gets into foul trouble a lot as well. So I think her and Sarah are going to match up really well. But other than that, every offense they just run through Izzy. Like I was trying to watch and try to see like how do they even run their offense? She just does whatever she wants. Like she'll just shoot the ball from the
Legitimately.
3-point line. Yeah, drive the
I
ball.
mean, they're running offense, but their offense is like she's
Right.
running the offense.
Exactly.
And
It's
so
like,
if you
for
stop her, you stop their offense. And then I'm sure
Right.
their coach, he's been around for a while. Like, I don't know what their adjustment is to that, but I would like to make them show us what their adjustment is to that. Because, we talk about, maybe that Missouri State game. I think this girl's
Right.
a lot better scorer than that girl was, but that was one of the better point guards we faced this year, just as far as quickness wise. And she was pretty much doing what she wanted to us in that game against Missouri State. And pretty much every single time we just stopped her. Like at the end of the game, we got our defenders in there and we had our best defenders
Right.
in there. And then she couldn't drive and they didn't have an offense. And so that's kind of how this one is. It's like, I want to see what happens when Higginbottom cannot just slice through the defense. And I get that that's easier said than done because she's the number 2 scorer in the nation. And she was a top 10 scorer in the nation last year at
Arkansas State.
Before she transferred
Right.
over. So like, it's not a one hit thing. Like she's a scorer of the basketball. It's what she does. And she's a high volume player. So she's seen every defense you can imagine thrown at her. So it's not going to be something that we're going to surprise her with, but I'm hoping our length, I don't know that she's like the biggest person in the world. So I'm hoping maybe our length can frustrate her enough to force her teammates. Cause I agree. Like you want to, the games they've won, I feel like, she's gone for like 40 or something. You know what I
Right.
mean?
No,
Like
it's been
in the games
crazy.
where it gets a little out of hand for them, she's been kept more in check, or at least her teammates didn't do much to help her. So like UCLA, which is, listen, we're not UCLA, but are we?
We
UCLA
might
held
be.
her to 15 points. And they lost that
Still
one.
a lot, but
Yeah, still a decent
better
number.
than 24 or
So
whatever.
how about
it is.
Oral Roberts might be a better comparison.
Right.
They lost to Oral Roberts. Let's see what they did. she still went off in that. She had 27 points, but they scored a lot more. So their defense sometimes is susceptible. I know they've had some injuries, so I'm interested to see who is available. That's going to be probably tough for our team to really know because the thing that Arkansas has going for them is they're off this entire week while we have a game. And so I know I watched their Boston College game, and they only had like 8 available players or something in that game. So some of their regulars were hurt. I don't know if they played against Southeast Missouri, whatever.
Right.
They played last and murdered. Yeah, it looks like they must have because they played like they played 13 people in that game, so they must be back. So that'll help them a little bit. But they have a very heavy foreign lineup. I wonder if either Ivana or Sarah know any of these people. I don't know where they're from, but I know they're from a lot of them from Europe. Completely new team from last year, basically just flipped their entire roster. And then they have Kiki Smith as well, who was the JUCO National Player of the Year. So Sarah and Ivana actually might know her. I don't know if they ever crossed paths and played, but they won the school she was at, won the national championship, and she was the JUCO National Player of the Year. She's a good little guard as well. So against Boston College, it was kind of them when I watched them play. But yeah, they're a team I'm very interested to see how they handle the press because they seem to turn it over quite a bit in the games that I watched.
Right. And I'm also interested to see, they are very zone heavy. Like every game that I watch, they love that 2-3 zone. They do, right. And if we get Adley Blacklock, Adley Blacklock going to be on a career high watch that night because, oh my gosh, like they just like even when things weren't working out, they still were sticking to the zone. They'll either go 2-3 or 3-2. So hopefully we get our zone busters out there because I think that's going to hurt them a lot, Arkansas. So
yeah, if we shoot the way we're capable, we should win for sure. But they're banking on you not doing that. And if our shot's not falling, we got to find a way to win. And I think we can win with our defense in this game if it comes to it.
I agree.
Yeah, if we need to light it up shooting, Adley can do that. Jada can do that. Maybe it'll be a good game, like you said, for some of our other shooters to get their confidence up and get going and just shoot freely. And yeah, they do play the games I've watched. It's been a zone the whole time. So I don't know if they've tried man this year and it just didn't work out. I know that's not Higginbottom's game. She's not the best 1v1 defender. So if you're going to have her as your star player, that's probably that. And then maybe to keep their bigs out of foul trouble. If you said they foul a lot, who knows the logic behind that. But yeah, they do seem to play some zone. So, and we do have some players on this team that I don't know how tough of an environment it will or won't be because it's been an up and down season for them. But if it is a little bit of a rowdy crowd, Bailey, Jazz, Kyla, who else was on this team 2 years ago? Forgetting. That might be it. Is that all that was played in that game?
I think that's
Those 3 played at Arkansas in the WNIT back in Bree Scott, Bryn Gerlich, Big Cat, their senior seasons. And that was a packed house. They heard the Woo Pigs and all that. And we almost beat that team, and that was a pretty solid team. That's a completely different team. They don't have any of the same players, but we have a little experience in that arena. So maybe Bailey Jazz will go off. I don't know how much Kylie got in that, but they were freshmen, little old true freshmen that year. But now they're our veterans. Time flies. So they're getting back to go.
Ironic, we're playing both the same schools we played in the WNIT.
That's true. I didn't think about that. I forgot about that. Week. Bailey did go off against SMU. Remember that was like Bailey's career high against SMU, wasn't it?
Yes,
she might have passed it by now. I remember that. Now you say that. Okay, good vibes. Bailey and Jazz are going to be feeling good about themselves.
Yeah, we'll get the revenge game.
Just take yourselves back 2 years. Remember the times where you were just freshmen and didn't have any pressure on you. You could just go out there and hoop. I need y'all to go do that now. Go out there and hoop.
Right.
But yeah, no, I think we're very capable of beating both these teams, but road games are always tough, and both of these teams have given opponents trouble at times, and then other times they've struggled. So we've been the more consistent team, and if we show up and be consistent, absolutely go get the dubs. But important wins, and then you just have one more. We'll talk about it next week after that in Lamar. But Wednesday night, 7 p.m. in Dallas. Go to the game. A lot of Dallas area Red Raiders. Apparently, we have at least one Arkansas area Red Raider that was on Twitter. He's buying tickets right now. He just replied. He just bought them. You're going to have at least one Red Raider in the stands.
Let's go.
If you're listening to this, y'all. You got one fan that'll be there yelling Raider power for you at least. I'm sure there'll be others. Maybe, Bree Scott's playing international. She's from Arkansas, but she's off playing in another country right now. But maybe her people can get up there and support them. She's from Arkansas. So, yeah, get out there. That is on Sunday. should be on ESPN Plus at, was it 2 o'clock?
2 p.m. Yes.
2 p.m. on Sunday. Go team. So, any questions? We've already covered a lot of this stuff. Y'all are very chatty on Facebook today. Okay. But yeah, I think we kind of covered all that. So that's that. I have one clip that I didn't show, but I'm going to show it because I love Jordan Merritt. So, leader. This was after their SFA game, talking about the stretch of 4 games in 6 days and kind of it's more of like the team as a whole and what they're using this season to get through these games. So it was good stuff from Jordan, and then we'll move on from there.
I think our intensity is something that has for sure carried us, through the games. Whether it's the highs or lows, we'd always find a way to come together, and it was most likely on the defensive end, just getting stops. We talk a lot about building bricks, so just, using that as motivation to play both sides of the ball, be able to get it stopped and go down, execute, and, just keep doing that to build our way back. So I think that that's something that's been huge for us, and also just our togetherness. It's been tough, like Coach Ehrlich said, with, the travel, the games that are back-to-back, but just staying together, staying united in those situations has really brought us, very far. So I think that definitely helped us tonight for sure.
Love that, Jordan. Love a good leader. Yeah, good stuff. It feels like that was a lifetime ago, but that was last Tuesday, SFA dub.
Right.
Now they're headed on the road, so excited to watch them Wednesday. Feels like it's been forever. Haven't gotten to watch the Lady Raiders play.
I know.
After
they've been playing
games.
a lot. Yes.
Yeah, they really were. Their schedule this year has not been for the weak.
But I mean, if you can get through this week, I mean, you're 12-1, which is, I think, any coach is going to take 12-1. So I think that's really huge for us as we're moving forward to looking at conference play and also the tournament as well.
Yeah, you put yourself in a good spot headed into the conference. You got to take care of business in this week and against Lamar, and then you'll have to regroup and do it in conference. But they've done a lot of tough work, just scheduling-wise and timeline-wise. They sticking together, and that's all that matters. So as long as they stick together and do their thing, people start showing up, supporting them. I love it. Go team. Let's run through men's basketball. They're off this week, so we don't have a lot to talk about. They don't play until maybe next Monday. Next Monday, the 16th.
Right.
They'll play again, but they played Texas A&M last night. Tough one for the guys. Like, they're a little thin right now. We talked about that last week. We'd heard murmurs. I'm not going to expose injuries unless I know they're 100% sure, but had heard murmurs they were dealing with some injuries, and it turned out to be the case, and Toppin hasn't played the last 2 games, and he's our leading scorer and our leading rebounder, so that's a tough loss. Like, he's up there, like, he's like a National Player of the Year candidate in some veins, to be honest, and we didn't have him. And that, especially against a team like A&M, who is up there, and maybe, do they lead the country or second in the country in offensive rebounds per game or something stupid?
I think so.
Yeah, so we gave up 18 offensive rebounds, which looks really bad, and it was really bad, but it's like that's also what they do, and we didn't have our leading rebounder, so there's a lot of grace given there from me. On that, it happens. If you have him, I think we win the game, but you didn't, and that's part of it. I think the turnovers probably are the ones that they're probably most frustrated with, and I think Grant McCaslin kind of agreed with that in his post-game presser that I watched, that was more the frustrating thing. It was like, that's not who they are. Like, they know that, and so they just need to clean up the turnovers. But credit to A&M, they're very long, and I really like their defense. I know people don't want to say nice things about A&M, but I thought they played really good defense against us and made us look a little bit out of sorts. Because, like, even in the St. Joe's game that we lost, our offense looked pretty good. It was just like their offense looked a little bit better. Like, they were just scoring. This game, I mean, they were making us overpass. We talked about those turnovers earlier. Like, I saw a lot of those same turnovers from the men's team in this, where it was like, shoot the ball. like they were just like overpassing and hesitating, and they got their shot blocked a couple of times on some threes, and maybe that started the hesitation of the run a bit. I think is what Grant McCaslin talked about a little bit too. So they just didn't look fully like themselves on the offensive ends, either end really, but I would say more offense was just, usually they're out there shooting it freely, and they were shooting threes, don't get me wrong, but they were like a little bit disjointed threes. They weren't in rhythm like they normally are for this team.
I think the last 11 minutes, our only attempts were 3-pointers, if that graphic thing was right. Inside. So Yeah, that zone, the A&M had a really good zone. They really locked us up with that. But we were still able to hang in close, though. I mean, some threes were sinking in a little bit towards the end. I was like, oh, we're going to come back,
Yeah,
but
I
we fell
mean,
a
I
little
would think
short.
playing a zone against that team is not typically going to lead to success because we are such good shooters, but because they were so long and they were able to get out, like they were really active in their zone, and then we didn't really have an inside presence, and so yeah, a zone. Of course, you can shoot from the outside, but you need some
Right.
sort of inside presence. We've talked
Inside.
about that on the Lady Raiders side, which they're doing a really good job now. But in the beginning of the year, like we weren't getting the ball to the paint, and we were just
Right.
passing it around the horn. Remember we talked about that? They're not doing that anymore. They're doing a good job of getting it inside, then passing it out to Adley, and then she's shooting it basically, or passing it out to Jada. The men just weren't doing that as much, and I don't know if that was one of the first times we've seen a zone this year, because people aren't often going to test us in that way. But because we didn't
Right.
have a big, maybe A&M was like, yeah, good luck. I don't know, or if that's normally what they do, but they were switching between man and zone, and it just felt like the zone. We were just kind of playing hot potato around the edge, and
Exactly.
they'll get that cleaned up. So it was not the best game from some of our stars, but I thought Kevin Overton was really good.
Really
He
good.
continues to impress me. He brings a little bit of a dog out there when we need it, and he kind of kept us in that. It would have been not a good game if he didn't come to play in that. And McMillan had another good game late, shot some pretty good threes. Missed one late, but I mean he kept us around. So
Right.
good moments for sure, but a lot to clean up. So I don't panic too much in December. But it is
No.
unfortunate that we don't really have any opportunities for big wins in the non-con. We kind of missed out on our best chances, but that's life. Move on from it and just go take. You're gonna probably have to win a couple extra games in Big 12 tournament now, or in the Big 12 season now. But they can do that. So as long as they get healthy, they're gonna need Toppin to get healthy. But it sounds like
Right.
he was wanting to play on Sunday, and so if it was even a question, that gives me hope that it's not a super long-term thing. I could see us holding him out the rest of non-con because we should be able to beat the teams they have on non-con the rest of the way without him. And so maybe you don't want to press it and force it until conference. That I get that, but I think if there was a conference game on Monday, I think he'd play in it. Is the vibe I get, but I don't know.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that I'm not too concerned yet. I think, yes, we do have to have Toppin back, obviously, but I also think that McCassin will have this team by March ready to go. I think there's a lot of noise right now, and people are freaking out about the tournament, but it is only December 9th. So we still got a few more months to go. We still got Big 12 play to go. We obviously are going to come out strong, I feel like. So it's just some patience right now with this squad and this team and trying to figure some things out.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of this time last year, no one thought this team was doing anything right. So there has been a little bit of trust earned. It's a new staff, and McCaslin's new, but he did get that team turned around, and they made the tournament with that group and had a pretty solid season. So I know it's going to be tough maybe to get one of those high seeds, but the good news is you play in the Big 12, and so you're going to have plenty of chances for really big wins the rest of the year. You get 20 shots at it this year because you have 20 conference games this year instead of 18. You get 20 games against some of the best teams in the country ahead of you, so there's really no reason to panic. I understand the frustration from fans, but they have this is not like a mid-major issue where it's like, gosh, we missed our only chances to get a big win all year. Now we have to win every game and our conference tournament to get in. Like, no, you're going to play Kansas, and you're going to play Iowa State, and you're going to play West Virginia, and Cincinnati, and Arizona, and all these new teams as well. Like, you have chance after chance to fix your resume or get notches on that resume. So it's all ahead of them for sure. But I think the biggest thing is they got to get healthy. And then I really appreciated this from McCaslin after the game. Of course, he's going to back his guys, and he says that. But then I like the latter part of it, too, because he acknowledges, like, yeah, I love them. This is the team. We're going to do big stuff. But we have to get some things figured out. So
we got the right team. We do have the right team. I believe in this team. I love this team. I think we've got the right pieces when we got everybody healthy and we're playing the right way. Our commitment to playing the right way, though, and playing for each other has to be better. And it showed up in our turnovers. And it showed up in our lack of composure against a team that can make you feel frantic at times. And that's the difference in the game to me. It was just we've got to get more experience in handling these situations as a team and especially at the point guard position. And the more we do that and the more we have composure, I like where we'll end up with this group. And I can't say it enough, just the Red Raiders being in the house, man, what an unbelievable atmosphere. And we didn't play well enough, and that's on me, and we'll get back to it. And we've got a competitive group, and we'll be ready to go this next week, and we'll be ready for Big 12 play.
Boom. Love it.
Good stuff.
It sounds good. Sounds good.
It does.
That old school logo. I wasn't paying attention. Was he wearing an old school logo in that?
Yeah, he was like the like double T, and it said Texas Tech, like the old double T.
Love that. That'll be Grant. Good stuff. If you would like to send us one, I'll wrap it on the show. I know Texas Tech needs help selling stuff. I'm sure they do. No, but love that. So what do they have ahead? They play Oral Roberts next week on Monday. That has been a good mid-major team at times. I'm not sure how they're doing this year, but
they don't have no Kevin O'Banner anymore.
Yeah, they don't have Kevin O'Banner. We stole him. I think their coach from that reign is gone as well. So
right.
And then do they play? I see this in the notes. Do they play Lamar as well next week?
Yes, they do.
The same day?
I don't think it's the same day. The women, I think, play on the Monday, and then I think the men play the following or a couple days afterward. Yes.
Gotcha. I was like, did they travel together? That's adorable. But no, that's cool. So, yeah, we got 2 games next week-ish and the next week for men's basketball. But they have a well-deserved week off this week, just like the Lady Raiders basically had last week off after their game Tuesday. And now they, like Grant McCassin said, shout out to the Red Raiders that showed up at the men's basketball game yesterday. Go show up at the women's basketball game on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Dallas against SMU, the Moody Coliseum or whatever it's called, auditorium. I have no idea. SMU's basketball arena. Look it up. Be there.
Yes.
Beat the ponies. That is basketball. Any thoughts before we move on to everything else?
Nope, I think that it's basketball season. We're in the middle of it, and I'm excited to get through these games. And then we are into conference play earlier before Christmas this year because of the expansion. So exciting stuff.
Yes, not too long. I can't dates. We're gonna have to be talking about Big 12 basketball soon enough. So that's exciting. What else has been going on? So quickly, softball. I had a chance to talk to the head coach, Jerry Glasgow, earlier today. Actually, we posted a clip on Twitter. You can go watch that if you want to see it. Just typical Jerry. He's literally on his way. Oh, he might be there by now. He was on his way to Mexico to quail hunt when I talked to this man, pulled over on the side of the road, had a nice chat about their 2025 recruiting class because he could finally talk about them. They're not allowed to actually talk about recruits until they sign the dotted line with signing day behind them. He could talk about them. So good tidbits on the 4 players that are coming in with next year's class for now. We'll see if they add to that, but that's who's in it for now. Talks a lot about fall ball and what he liked, and he's very honest about this team. He's very excited about this team and what they can do, but he's also very honest about the areas that he's like, hey, I thought we were going to be good here, but we're actually really good in this other area, and that's exciting. And so and there's a lot of competition on this team and people winning jobs, and like it's going to be fun, and a lot of, I think he feels like they can go like 13 deep really on true starters on this team as far as who get in the lineup day to day and moving it around. And then the pitching. Obviously, everybody knows about Nigel Kennedy. He talks about her. She was also one of our best hitters in this game, in this fall ball, believe it or not. So that'll be fun to watch. But she was great. But he's really excited about what the freshmen did. Sam Lincoln came on big time at the end. Brinley Gonzalez, we're going to call her a Lubbock native. She's from Lubbock. She has family in Lubbock. She moved away at some point in her life, but she's back now. Had a big fall too. So yeah, a lot of good stuff. Talks all about that. And then we get into the schedule a little bit. Well, we're going to play Texas Tech. We're going to play Texas A&M. We're going to play Texas at their house. 2 games each. We're going to play Duke, who was in the College World Series last year. We're going to play Nebraska, who has the player of the year before Kennedy was the player of the year. Jordy Ball was the player of the year and won 2 national championships with OU. Transferred to her home school in Nebraska. She's getting to play. She was out last year injured, but she's back. Get to play her. He gives a little tease in that. This is hot tea. If you made it this far, no one's heard this yet because it hasn't been released in our interview. But they are trying to get that game between Texas Tech, Nigel Kennedy, and Nebraska Jordy Ball, potentially the 2 best pitchers in the country, on MLB Network. They're trying to do it. Right now it's on ESPN Plus, which is absurd. So they're trying to get it on a major channel. They're working on that. So that could be fun, but that's a big one. They play Indiana at home for a couple, so that's a solid, probably your best 2 home opponents until Oklahoma State, and I know that I'm forgetting other people. Texas State, Mississippi State. The first week of the season, the first 2 days of their season is like 4 different power conference teams. Their schedule, it might be the hardest schedule in the country in the non-con, and that's what Jerry Glasgow likes to do. He did that at Louisiana. He's bringing the same thing to Texas Tech. He doesn't care that he plays in the Big 12 now, and they're going to face just as tough competition once they get to the conference. He wants them to be prepared. So, yeah, we talk about all that stuff, and it's like a 30, 40-minute conversation. So enjoy that. Probably Thursday-ish. We'll post it on our YouTube page. So make sure you're following, turn on the little notification, all the things.
Yeah, no, softball. I got to go to, I think, one of the last fall ball games against Red and Black. So y'all are going to have a fun team in Lubbock this year. So y'all really need to go out, buy the season tickets. I know there's only a few left. So go out, buy the season tickets. It's going to be a really fun group. This team can contend for a national title. So
it's no exaggeration.
Big stuff coming. Yeah. No exaggeration.
They
Big
won't
stuff
be a
coming.
favorite for it, but they will be in the conversation because of the talent that they have. But just because people haven't seen it from Texas Tech yet. Right. It's a new group. People are going to want to see it to believe it. But just straight talent-wise, there's a lot of fun talent on this team. And obviously everyone knows Nyjah Kennedy. Like, I can't say it enough. Like, I think we do our best to make sure we're talking about every player on this team because they're all so good. But she is just special. And if you've never seen her in person, you're gonna regret. You're gonna look back someday when she's winning Olympic gold medals because softball's back in the Olympics, and she'll probably be winning the ace for that team when they are. And you're gonna be like, I didn't buy season tickets when she was in my literal hometown for 2 years. What was I thinking? I am an idiot. That's like people that would be that stupid to not go watch Caitlin Clark in Iowa for 4 years. Like, that's how stupid you would feel if you do not get out there and watch this girl play softball. She's just special. She's generational in and then her teammates, they're elite. She's generational. They're elite. There's some elite players on this team as well. They're going to be fun. And there's some players that are young on this team that could maybe be who knows by the time they get to be seniors, right? So there's a lot of talent on this team. So get out there, just buy the tickets. In my opinion, they're pretty affordable, the season tickets. And they're trying to put outfield features for the first time as well. And they want a rowdy crowd. They want all the things. So I'd just go ahead and make your plans to be there. They don't have a lot of home games until conference. But once conference gets here, it's a really spicy schedule.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. So that is softball. Good times. Excited for y'all to hear that. It's always a good time talking to Jerry. He's been on the show twice now. Hasn't even coached a game yet. I was like, buddy, you're a regular. Come on anytime. Also been on the show, Macy Blackburn with Texas Tech Soccer. Just want to give her a shout out. She is just doing what Macy Blackburn does and collecting awards left and right. The voting might be closed. We talked about it at the start of the show. Go check it out. The Mac Herman Award, which is basically the Heisman. I mean, not basically. It's like the Heisman of soccer, like the best player in soccer. She's a semifinalist for that award this year. And it's a small fan vote portion to get you to the finals, and then they picked off finalists. So y'all kind of shut down the website last week when we put out the tweet. So good job, Texas Tech fans. But they left it open until, I think, 9 o'clock Central tonight. So you might have a little bit longer, maybe 1 more hour to get in votes if you haven't. So go check that out. But she also was named a first-team All-American from the United Soccer Coaches Association this past week. That means back-to-back seasons that Macy Blackburn has been an All-American. Last year, third team, even though she missed like the last 8 games of the season, she was still a third-team All-American, which is stupid. This year, she misses basically the first 5 games of the season with recovering from that same injury. And she's a first-team All-American. She's just a really special player, and I'm praying, hoping, I'm greedy that we get 1 more year out of her. She has 1 more year of eligibility, but obviously we'll support whatever Macy decides to do. Pro soccer is going to come for her at some point. But Matador Club, if you happen to be listening, this feels like a great time to sneak on over. And I know y'all been doing a great job with other sports and buying your time as you get through the other sports and have enough money to support. This is a great time, I think, to slip on over into soccer, where you have a back-to-back All-American, other All-Americans, almost back-to-back Big 12 champs. Maybe give that team a little love from the Matador Club. Maybe help us keep Macy around. I don't know. I have no idea what her plans are. She could already be like, Shelby, I'm staying. Don't say that. Use your leverage, girl. Get an NIL deal out of this because she deserves it. But yeah, so we'll see if we have more of Macy Blackburn around these parts. But If not, it's been a pleasure watching her play because she's just special. So wanted to give her a shout out. And again, go vote. 50 minutes
Yes.
remaining if you're watching this live to vote.
Use
So you can
every
find
email.
out. Use every email
Contact
you
the
have.
neighbor.
Create some burner accounts.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, people really did crash their site. They had to create a whole site. It was machermanaward.org, and this has been around since like forever. And I'm saying it's Texas Tech fans did it. Because it happened like an hour after we shared the link. And it just stopped working. So that's Texas Tech Nation for you. And they had it, now they're machermanaward.com. They just got rid of .org. They had to make a whole new website. Bless their hearts. But it works now. So go do that. And if you voted the first time, I think you could just vote again now on the new website as well. So, and all the votes are supposed to count. We'll see. I don't know if she's winning that award because there's like a girl that has scored 20 goals this year, if we're being realistic, but it would still be a really cool honor for her to be a finalist. And if we can help her be a finalist, that'd be cool to do. So,
and then next year she can.
And then next year,
hopefully
see Macy, next year, the keyword next year, you can come back, be a 3-time All-American and win the Mac Herman
Award.
I'm just saying.
Just
Pitch,
saying.
Matador Club, what do you got for me? Man, I wish. This is how I give back to my university, is during this show. If I had that kind of money, the way I would find a way to give them all well-deserved NIL deals. But anyway, I tried. That is soccer. Their season's all obviously done, but she's raking in their awards. And football, quickly, talked about them last week. We just said, hey, Joey, we hope you hire someone quick and fast because we're all about portal season, not bowl season. Well, he said, Shelby, I'm going to hire someone so fast on both sides of the ball that you can be about portal season and bowl season. So now we have a new offensive coordinator. Was it Mac Leftwich, I believe, from Texas State? And if you ever watched them play, it's kind of like a video game. I don't know if anyone got NCAA, the video game. I know I have it. And Texas State was a team that I played with because their offense is so fun. So when we hired them, that was like the first thing I thought of. I was like, oh my God, that was my offensive coordinator in my video game. And they play so, it's very, reminds me a little bit of Mike Leach. Not the same, but very spread out. Like the wide splits from the wide receivers. Wide receiver, he's bringing back the word. Like it's very wide. And then some other things that he does are cool. So I thought that was a cool hire. Smart hire, and then I'm blanking on his name. What is his name?
Shield, or what?
No,
I know
Wood,
last
something
name's
Wood.
Wood.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sleagle? I'm sorry, man. It's something Wood for sure. Slade. Is it Slade? God, this feels wrong. I'm looking it up now. Now I just feel like an irresponsible human.
SHIEL. Shield. Okay.
Well, I don't know if that's how you say it. That's how I would say it. From Houston, who honestly didn't pay attention to Houston this year. Not gonna lie.
Me either.
So I just trusted the folks that were like, this is a great hire, and then I looked into them. Ryan Mainville, if you know Ryan Mainville on Texas Tech Twitter world, he is a part of the Gambling Gauchos universe, but he does a lot of cool stuff on Twitter, and he put out this great little graphic. I love a good graphic about this guy's defense, and he's been a fan of him all year. And I trust Ryan when it comes to analytics, so he says he's good, then he's good. But no, yeah, Houston had good defense. They have some good players. Maybe we'll grab a few in the portal. Sorry, Houston, that's life. And yeah, now we'll go to work. Micah Hudson officially entered the portal today. Best of luck, but doesn't mean he's gone. He's kind of reopening the whole recruiting process again, and we've had a few other players do that. But Jalen Conyers announced that he's going to play in the bowl game. He's the only player I've seen do that. So we'll see who does or doesn't play. But the bowl game is. Do you know that? Do you want to take it from here?
Yes. So we're going to be playing in the Liberty Bowl against the Arkansas Razorbacks, a very old conference foe. I'm not quite sure though if it's going to be as competitive because I guess Arkansas's like half their team entered the portal, but either way it'll be a good way to cap off the season. I liked what Joey said. He said that there's a huge opportunity for us to still get 9 wins on the season, finish off the season strong, get a win against the SEC opponent. So I'm very excited for it. I don't remember the date. I know it's like a little bit later in December, like maybe the 29th, something like that, but it'll be in Memphis. So y'all go out and support Red Raider football. 27th. Okay.
Sounds right. Yeah.
So yeah, go out and support Red Raider football. we're going bowling.
The thing I love about our fan base is like they just love Texas Tech sports. It's like a tradition. It's like something they do for fun. It doesn't matter. A lot of people go to this bowl game no matter where it is and when we're in it. And there was a little bit of a lull there where we weren't, but we're back to going to them every year again, thanks to Joey. And I was reading that, like, there's people that started a thread somewhere on the internet I was reading, and they're like, who's going? And there was just hundreds of people, like, already bought my tickets, whole family's going. We got rental cars, we got planes, I'm like, oh my gosh, y'all are so corny. It's been out for a day. Like, I was so impressed. Like, I'm always impressed with Texas Tech fans, but I was just like, I'm so impressed right now. Like, because everybody complains all year, right? But at the end of the day, they're still going to that game, right? So it's like sometimes you got to remember that. It's like the same people that are just really frustrated about what's going on during the season are also the same people that as soon as that bowl game went on sale, their whole family's buying tickets and their whole family's going there they're buying plane tickets as well. Like that's how much the fan base cares. So it's a double-edged sword, but Holiday Inn, Renee is apparently throwing out. I don't know what that means. Are you staying at the Holiday Inn in Memphis? Don't give out your location, Renee, but apparently there's a good deal going on there. But yeah, a lot of people are going. I don't know that I'll go because I'll be in Texas probably that week visiting family. So I might get mad if I left. Wouldn't be the first time. I did that a few years ago, but I'll probably not go. But I'm excited to watch it. I think a lot of young players are going to get to play is my prediction, but we'll see who does or doesn't.
I also think that what's exciting about this bowl game is honestly, I think we did get a better draw than what some people were predicting. So I'm actually kind of happy that we got this draw against an opponent, and also like just the bowl itself. I like the Liberty Bowl better than whatever the bowl they were predicting us in.
Armed Forces Bowl. That's always awkward. Like I don't want to play Navy. Like I don't want to root against my country.
Exactly. It's so awkward.
Can you imagine? Is he watching? He's probably. I haven't seen him in the chat. But can you imagine Tech Batman having to do a Texas Tech hate week against Navy?
For the Navy.
He would get his entire account shut down. We would have lost Tech Batman. We would have lost Tech Batman if we had gotten put in the Armed Forces Bowl. So whoever the powers that be that got us into the Liberty Bowl and said, you saved one of Texas Tech Twitter's icons from probably getting thrown in jail or arrested by the CIA or something for hating on Navy all week. So there's that.
Now we're in the Liberty Bowl. So
now we're in the Liberty Bowl, which is
praising
still
the country,
America, but not having to root against them. So we can Arkansas Hate Week will be great, I'm sure.
Right.
He'd get a head start on it this week because the Lady Raiders played at Arkansas to close out the show on Sunday. Before that, they played at SMU. How many times can I say it? I know we have a lot of Red Raiders in the DFW area. Go to the game.
$7 tickets.
$7 tickets. I'll buy somebody a ticket if you reach out to me. You can be me. You can yell for me. Just tweet me or something. Be there, take friends. What else do you have to do on a Wednesday night? Besides go yell Raider power at some ponies. You know?
I agree. All the Dallas students that came back, y'all go support your Lady Raiders.
That's right. All the classes are done or
and
whatever's
ended today.
Going on.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get to see them against Lamar, and you might not get to see them in their first Big 12 game.
I know.
It's also over the break. Go see them at SMU and make up for it. Take your friends and family. Teach them how to do all the traditions.
Yes.
Go team.
Paint it red and black.
Paint it. Yeah, it's always, even if like, it doesn't matter the sport. It's just good to go. Like, it could be like lacrosse. We don't have a lacrosse team, but I'll use that as a reference. So I'm not offending anybody by accident. But it could be like Texas Tech lacrosse. I don't know much about lacrosse. I should, living where I live. It's everywhere here, but I don't. But just to be obnoxious and be like, I'm going to take over their lacrosse stadium just to show that I can. Like, that should be the attitude of Texas Tech fans in Dallas. Like, let's just go show SMU, like, cool, you're in the playoff or whatever. You think you're hot shit right now. We're going to go take over your basketball stadium just because we can.
All right.
Just because we can. Just to annoy you. So that's what I want to see on Wednesday night. I want to see at least 500 to 1,000 of you Red Raiders loading up that arena. That might be you know what? I'm not backing down from it. I want to see at least 500 to 1,000 Red Raiders in that stadium. Red and black.
They were all there yesterday.
When we would go to TCU in women's basketball, it was basically a Texas Tech home game in the past. So that might change now. They're a little better, but we usually take over TCU stadium as well. So $7 is cheaper than Chipotle. This is true. Renee?
Chipotle today.
Renee
They did.
says she was hoping for the Armed Forces Bowl short drive. You know what's also a short drive? Because I think the Armed Forces Bowl is in Dallas, right? And not the whole thing.
Yes.
You know it's also a short drive, Renee? You just put it out there that you live in Dallas. You better be at the SMU game on Wednesday, Renee. Don't let me down. I'm going to need a full report. You're in the chat.
You may have to live stream it.
You might have to live stream it if the ACC network steals this from me. So be there and be obnoxious on Wednesday. All right, guys. You got anything else, Tyler, before we go?
I got nothing.
Go finish watching the NCAA soccer championships going on right now. About 20 minutes from my house, actually, but I'll watch it on TV. So, all right. Wreck 'em, fam.
Like,
Wreck 'em.